Most people slow down after 70, but not everyone. There's a small group of men and women who keep moving, keep learning, and keep leading long after others begin to fade. They're not lucky. They're not superhuman. They've simply kept certain skills alive, and because of that, they've bought themselves more time. If you're between 70 and 80 and can still do the following 8 things, consider yourself rare, because each one is a marker of strength, clarity, and biological youth. And if you can't do all 8 yet, don't worry. You'll learn what to rebuild and how to protect your future. Stay to the end, because the final sign is the most powerful predictor of whether you'll thrive or slowly disappear. You can get up from the floor without help. Forget fancy diagnostics. Forget blood panels, wearable trackers, or expensive tests. There is one physical test that quietly predicts your independence, your balance, your coordination, and even your chances of longevity. It's simple. You don't need equipment. You don't need a doctor. All you need is a clear patch of floor. Now try this. Sit down on the ground. Then stand back up without using your hands, your knees, a chair, or another person. Can you do it? It may sound basic, but this one ability reveals more about your functional health than almost any test available. Because what it really measures is integration, not just strength in isolation, but how well your body parts work together. Your core stability, your hip mobility, your balance, your proprioception, the body's awareness of space, and your nervous system clarity. If any of those are off, this test exposes it instantly. And here's what's fascinating. Studies have shown that seniors who can get up and down from the floor without support have a markedly lower risk of mortality. In fact, one study in the European Journal of Preventive Cardiology found that people over 50 who could do this had up to 5x greater life expectancy than those who couldn't. Why? Because the ability to control your own body against gravity from the floor up is not just about muscle. It's about resilience. When you can rise from the floor on your own, it tells your brain, this body is still capable, still stable, still safe. That message triggers everything from hormonal regulation to emotional confidence. Your nervous system stays calm. Your gait stays strong. Your fall risk drops dramatically. Because it's not the fall that causes tragedy in old age. It's not being able to get back up. Think about it. If you trip in the kitchen, slip in the shower, or lose your balance outside, what determines the outcome isn't just the fall. It's whether or not you have the motor control and muscular coordination to get up again. And that doesn't come from walking alone. It comes from floor work, from sitting, shifting, pivoting, and pressing your body off the ground. Movements that most adults avoid after 60 and then, tragically, lose altogether. But here's the hope. This ability can be rebuilt. You're not too old. You're not too stiff. You're not too far gone. With the right movements, the right consistency, and the right mindset, you can train your body to respond again, to trust itself again, to get up again, literally and metaphorically. So where do you begin? Start small. Sit on the floor once a day. Use a pillow or yoga mat at first. Practice crossing your legs. Practice shifting your weight. Use support if you need to, but work toward reducing it. Activate your core. Stretch your hips. Engage your glutes. Your body is a system, and the floor is its classroom. The more you interact with it, the more your brain maps strength, balance, and coordination back into your nervous system. And this isn't just about physical power, it's about freedom. Because what does independence look like at 75? It's not about driving fast or lifting heavy. It's about being able to bathe safely, pick something up without tipping over, garden, sit with grandchildren, get off the couch without strain. Walk through your home confident that your legs will hold and your body won't betray you. When you can rise from the floor unassisted, it tells the world, and more importantly, yourself, that you're still in control. You still own your body. And that confidence, it changes everything. You become more active. You move more often. You socialize more freely. You avoid the spiral that so many seniors fall into. Fear of falling, less movement, more weakness, even greater fall risk. You stay in motion, and motion is what keeps you alive. So test yourself honestly. If you struggle to rise without your hands, that's okay, don't panic. But don't ignore it either. That struggle is a message, a call to action. Your body is asking for support, strength, and attention. Don't delay. Don't wait until you have time. Start today. Start with 2 minutes of floor time. Add gentle squats to your routine. Stretch your hips daily. Strengthen your core 3 times a week. None of this is extreme, but all of it is essential. Because in the end, this one ability, getting up from the ground, is not just a movement. It's a metaphor for how you face aging, for how you respond to challenges, for how you live the rest of your life. With strength, with grace, and with the quiet confidence of someone who doesn't just endure old age, but rises in it. You can carry your own groceries. It might seem small, something you do without thinking. A bag in each hand, a few steps from the car to the kitchen. But if you can still carry your own groceries, your body is quietly telling you something powerful. You are aging well. Because this isn't just about lifting bags, it's about independence, strength, and the resilience of your nervous system. And more than that, it's about what your hands reveal about your heart, your brain, and your future. Grip strength may seem like a fitness metric, but research says otherwise. According to studies published in The Lancet, the Journal of Gerontology, and multiple aging institutes around the world, grip strength is one of the most accurate predictors of early death. In fact, it can reveal more about your health trajectory than blood pressure, cholesterol, or even body weight. Why? Because grip strength reflects your overall vitality. When your hands are strong, your nervous system is firing, your muscles are responsive, your bones are sturdy, and your cardiovascular system is engaged. But when your grip weakens, not from injury, but from neglect, something else happens. Your body begins to shut down quietly. Muscles shrink, blood flow diminishes, balance becomes unsteady, and your confidence starts to fade. You avoid opening jars. You hesitate to pick up objects. You stop lifting bags from the trunk. Little by little, your world shrinks, not because of age, but because of disuse. Now here's the part no one tells you. You can stop that slide. You can restore strength, even if you're in your 70s or 80s, even if your hands ache, even if you've been sedentary for years. Your muscles don't forget how to respond, they're just waiting for the signal. And that signal starts the moment you decide to challenge them again, safely, consistently, and with intention. Carrying your own groceries is one of the simplest, clearest tests of this ability. Can you lift a bag without pain? Can you carry it from one room to another without dropping it? Can you move something across the kitchen without feeling strained? If the answer is yes, that's not just a functional win. That's a sign of cellular health. It means your joints are still coordinated, your bones are bearing load, and your grip hasn't faded with time. But if the answer is no, if you're struggling to carry, if bags feel heavier than they used to, if your fingers lose strength or your wrist trembles, don't ignore it. That's not just weakness. It's a warning, a signal that your body is asking for help. Not pills, not surgery, but movement, resistance, nutrients. Here's what happens when you train your grip. Your brain sharpens. Cognitive studies have shown that grip strength correlates with brain function. Seniors with strong hands often have better memory, quicker reaction time, and fewer signs of cognitive decline. Because grip strength is not just about hands, it reflects how well your brain communicates with your body, how fast your nerves fire, how stable your spinal cord remains. When your grip goes, your brain follows. But the opposite is true too. When your grip returns, your mental clarity rises. Grip strength also supports your heart. Every time you hold weight, your cardiovascular system is activated. Blood pumps more efficiently, vessels dilate, your heart rate stabilizes under pressure. And unlike intense cardio, grip training is low impact. A simple dead hang, a light kettlebell hold, a firm squeeze of a rubber ball. These build endurance at the deepest level, not just in muscle, but in circulatory resilience. So what can you do? Start with intentional lifting. Carry one grocery bag in each hand and walk slowly around your home. Squeeze a towel tightly and hold for 10 seconds. Use a gripper tool once a day while watching TV. Hang from a bar if you're able, even with feet still on the ground. These movements seem basic, but they rebuild connection. They reawaken the nerves in your fingers, strengthen your forearms, and most importantly, remind your brain that your hands still work. And remember this, your hands are not just tools. They are messengers. They reflect how much you still engage with life, how much you cook, clean, lift, move, carry, protect. When your hands are strong, your posture improves, your gait becomes more secure, your breath deepens, you feel more present, more alive. That's why this isn't about vanity or toughness. It's about freedom. The freedom to carry your own bag, to grab your own suitcase, to pick up your grandchild, to open your own jar, to live without hesitation. That is dignity, that is health, that is power. So the next time you carry a bag into your kitchen, pause. Feel the strength in your fingers, the steadiness in your wrist, the confidence in your stride. And remember, this is your health speaking. You can remember names, tasks, and details without confusion. There's something sacred about memory, not just because it helps us remember names, appointments, or where we left the keys, but because it holds the essence of who we are. It holds our history, our relationships, our stories. And when we can still access those things clearly, even in our 70s or 80s, we haven't just aged well. We've protected something deeply human. Most people think memory loss is inevitable with age, that it's normal to forget names, that it's expected to lose track of time, that you're supposed to tell the same story twice at dinner and forget you already said it. But that's not entirely true. Yes, some slowdown is natural, but confusion is not. Disorientation is not. Struggling to remember a familiar face or a daily task, that is a warning, not a normal part of aging. So if you're still able to remember people's names, if you can hold a sharp conversation without trailing off, if you know what day it is, where you need to be, and why you walked into a room, then your brain is still firing well. And that's not just luck. That's not something that just happens if you're lucky enough to avoid dementia. That clarity is the result of a lifetime of engagement. A lifetime of reading, solving, writing, moving, connecting, learning, and staying mentally active, even when no one was watching. Because cognitive health doesn't just happen in the brain. It happens in the nervous system. It happens in the gut. It happens in the habits you repeat or neglect every day. The brain is not a storage box that simply deteriorates. It's an active, living organ. And like any organ, it thrives under certain conditions and atrophies in others. And one of the biggest conditions, use. If you don't use your mind, it begins to retreat. If you stop learning, you stop retaining. If you stop asking questions, you stop caring about answers. If you stop reading, solving, exploring, your neurons stop growing. The synapses between thoughts begin to shrink and the fog sets in. But if you still remember people's names, you're still forming new connections. If you still pay bills, keep appointments, retell a story clearly, or remember a joke long enough to share it, you're still active inside. You're still present. You're still connected to your environment. That is a skill. That is a practice. And it is a gift that must be protected. Because the moment memory starts to erode, it doesn't just affect how you think, it affects how you relate. When you forget names, you pull back from people. When you forget conversations, you speak less. When you doubt your words, you stop telling your stories. You stop leading. You stop laughing. You stop participating, not because you want to, but because you feel unsure. That's the real danger of cognitive decline. Not the forgetfulness itself, but the withdrawal it creates. The shrinking of your voice. The fading of your identity. And once that begins, it's not just the brain that suffers. The heart follows. The body slows. The motivation dies. Because without clarity, we begin to feel irrelevant. And no pill can fix that. So how do you stay sharp? You stay engaged. You keep learning, even if it's small. You try to remember new names not because you have to, but because you can. You challenge yourself to read unfamiliar topics. You write things by hand. You cook new recipes without the book. You tell your grandchildren the same story, but this time with more detail. You use your memory like a muscle. Because it is one. You eat for your brain. You stay hydrated. You get enough omega-3s, enough vitamin D, enough sleep. You move your body not just for your heart, but because movement increases blood flow to the brain. Walking, resistance training, even stretching, anything that circulates oxygen through your system helps feed your focus. That's not fitness, that's neurological maintenance. And perhaps most importantly, you connect. Because conversation is mental exercise. Every time you tell a story, your brain retrieves a file. Every time you respond to someone, you organize thoughts. You listen. You react. You remember. Connection keeps the mind awake. Isolation, on the other hand, dims it slowly and cruelly. So if you're still mentally sharp, don't downplay it. Honor it. Because clarity is not just a sign of intelligence. It's a sign of balance. It's a signal that your body, mind, and spirit are still in dialogue. still showing up, still living, not just surviving. And if you feel your mind slipping, don't panic, but don't ignore it either. Fight for it, re-engage, get curious again, feed your mind the way you'd feed a muscle after an injury. It's never too late to wake up the brain, because no matter your age, it's still listening, still growing, still capable of surprising you. You are not forgetful because you are old. You are forgetful because something in you stopped being used. And that can change starting today. You can walk at a moderate pace for 15 minutes without pain. It doesn't sound like much, a 15-minute walk. No incline, no weights, no marathon medal at the finish line. Just a steady pace, one foot in front of the other. But if you can do that, if you can walk briskly without needing to stop, without wincing in pain, without your breath catching or your knees seizing, that is not a small win. That is a sign that your body is still working in harmony. And in this stage of life, that harmony is more valuable than gold. Because walking isn't just exercise, it's a full body system check. Every step is a test of coordination, endurance, joint integrity, circulation, lung capacity, and mental presence. If something's off, walking will reveal it. A stiff hip, a weakened ankle, a foggy mind, a heart that's lost its rhythm, a gait that's become hesitant instead of strong. But if you're still able to move smoothly, you're not just physically mobile, you're neurologically intact. And that matters more than most people realize. Endurance is not just about how far you can go, it's about how many systems in your body are still willing to cooperate. Your brain has to plan the route. Your heart has to keep pace. Your lungs have to pull in and exchange air. Your blood vessels need to expand and contract. Your muscles fire in sequence. Your joints absorb impact. Your balance keeps everything centered. This isn't just exercise, it's a symphony. And when you can walk briskly for 15 minutes, you're still conducting that symphony with precision. But when walking becomes painful, when your hips burn, your knees swell, your back tightens, or your breath shortens, that's not just aging. That's your body waving a flag, telling you something's off. It could be inflammation, weak glutes, poor posture, shallow breathing, or even cognitive fatigue. And the worst mistake you can make is to accept that pain as permanent. Because here's the truth, the moment walking becomes a chore, the walls of life begin to close in. Why? Because walking is freedom. It's how you get to the bathroom safely. It's how you make your own coffee in the morning. It's how you go to the store, visit a friend, step into sunlight. When walking hurts, when it becomes limited, so does your world. Your radius shrinks. You stop going out as often. You stop exploring. You start saying no. You start avoiding stairs. You lean on others more. And piece by piece, your independence slips away. But here's the power in walking. It's both a diagnostic tool and a treatment. If it hurts, it tells you where to work. If you avoid it, your body deteriorates faster. But if you embrace it with patience, structure, and intention, it becomes a form of medicine. And unlike pills, it has no side effects. A consistent walking practice restores balance, circulation, memory, mobility, even digestion. Yes, your gut improves when you walk. So does your mood. So does your sleep. So does your confidence. The body was built to walk, not just for transportation, but for preservation. Your hips are shaped to stride. Your knees are designed to bend and propel. Your spine is aligned for motion. And when you give your body that motion daily, gently, consistently, you signal to every system, we're still here, we're still working, we're still capable. And this isn't about speed, it's about pace. A steady, moderate pace where you can still speak, but you feel your body warming, your breath deepening, your mind focusing. That's the zone where healing happens. That's where you build longevity, not in gyms, not on machines, not with aggressive protocols. Just by putting on your shoes and saying, let's go. If you can't walk 15 minutes today, that's okay. Start with 5, then 7. Build slowly. Add a few minutes each week. Track how you feel, not just in your legs, but in your mind. You may find that the fog lifts, the anxiety softens, the tension eases. Because movement doesn't just stretch the body, it stretches the soul. It gives you back a piece of agency that time may have taken away. And if you're already walking 15 minutes a day, protect that gift. Don't let comfort steal it. Keep walking. Vary your route. Add a hill if you're able. Walk with a friend. Walk in silence. Walk with intention. Every step you take is a statement. I'm still in control. I'm still participating. I'm still living, not just surviving. Because here's the truth. Once you lose your ability to walk comfortably, everything else becomes harder. Getting up, getting dressed, traveling, socializing. Moving becomes negotiation. Life becomes smaller. But if you can walk without pain, even for just a quarter of an hour, your future is still wide open. So treat your walk as sacred, not as a task, but as a testament to your endurance, your capacity, your commitment to stay alive in every way that matters. 15 minutes may not seem like much. You can sleep through the night without medication. There's a kind of power that goes unnoticed. It doesn't wear a medal. It doesn't make headlines. But it changes everything quietly, steadily, night after night. It's the ability to fall asleep naturally and stay asleep, without pills, without constant waking, without that groggy, drugged feeling in the morning. Just a deep, healing, unassisted rest that restores your body in the most profound way. And if you're still able to do that after 70, that's not luck. That's a superpower. Most people don't realize how critical sleep becomes in later years, not just as rest, but as a form of recovery. As we age, our bodies shift. Hormones decline. The nervous system becomes more sensitive. Pain lingers longer. Inflammation creeps in quietly. And the one time of day the body is programmed to repair itself is at night. But only if it's given the chance to reach deep sleep, that rich, slow wave state where the brain clears debris, the muscles heal, and the immune system gets a full reboot. Yet for most older adults, this kind of sleep becomes rare. They wake every 2 hours. They lie in bed staring at the ceiling. They toss, turn, adjust pillows, drink water, and eventually resort to medication. And while sleeping pills may offer temporary relief, they come at a cost. Many sedatives don't induce natural sleep cycles, they induce unconsciousness, which lacks the neurochemical benefits of real, restorative sleep. Over time, this disrupts memory, damages focus, weakens immunity, and actually increases the risk of cognitive decline. So if you are still sleeping 6 to 8 hours straight without pills or aids, that's not just good enough. That's exceptional. It means your body still recognizes its circadian rhythm. It still knows when to shut down and when to reawaken. It means your brain is cycling through all the vital stages: light sleep, deep sleep, REM, and returning you to consciousness with energy and clarity. This kind of sleep is protective. It clears toxins from the brain, including beta amyloid, the compound linked to Alzheimer's. It balances cortisol, the stress hormone that inflames the body and disturbs blood sugar. It releases growth hormone, which aids in tissue repair, bone strength, and immune defense. And most importantly, it restores emotional regulation, which is why well-rested people are calmer, sharper, and more resilient, especially in the face of change, loss, or physical challenges. If you're wondering how to maintain or regain this gift of unassisted sleep, know this: it starts long before bedtime. It begins with light exposure during the day, especially sunlight in the morning, which tells your body it's time to be awake, setting the rhythm for when to wind down at night. It involves movement, even light walking or stretching, which clears cortisol and promotes melatonin later on. It includes nutrition, avoiding sugar and caffeine late in the day, and getting enough magnesium, healthy fats, and hydration earlier on. And it's built around consistency, going to bed and waking at the same time every day, even weekends. But perhaps the most overlooked factor is this: your relationship with stillness. Many seniors carry stress into bed, unspoken fears, regrets, loops of memory, or future dread. And without a way to process that tension, it lingers in the nervous system, preventing deep rest. So build in a ritual. Journal. Breathe deeply. Turn off the TV and the phone an hour before bed. Stretch. Pray. Listen to calming music. Let your system know, we are done for today. It's safe to let go. Because the truth is, you can't force sleep, but you can invite it. You can create the conditions for your body to relax, not just physically, but emotionally. And when it comes, sleep does what no medicine can. It restores you without effort. It heals without noise. It strengthens you silently from the inside out. If you've lost the ability to sleep well, don't panic, but don't ignore it either. It's not just part of getting older. It's often a sign of imbalance in blood sugar, hormones, emotional stress, or nervous system regulation. And all of those can be improved. You don't need to live in a state of exhaustion. You don't need to get used to feeling foggy. Start rebuilding. Slowly, remove the alcohol, add magnesium, lower the light, keep the room cool, introduce stillness. Then give your body the message it's been waiting for. You're safe now. It's time to rest. And if you're one of the lucky, or rather disciplined few who still sleep through the night without anything in your system but breath and peace, protected with everything you have, because that sleep is not just rest, it's medicine, it's memory protection, it's mood regulation. It's the difference between surviving and thriving. Don't underestimate it. Don't trade it for late night screens, extra caffeine, or shallow comforts. Protect your sleep. Because if you sleep well at 70, you move better at 75, and you think clearer at 80, and you stand taller at 85, and you're still fully alive at 90. And it all starts when the lights go out and your body says, I've got this. You can stand on one leg for 10 seconds. Balance equals brain health. This test seems simple, but it's profound. The longer you can stand on one leg without wobbling, the sharper your reflexes and coordination. This reduces fall risk, one of the biggest killers after 70. Try it daily. Train it like a life skill. You can say no without guilt. Emotional health is physical health. If you can set boundaries, protect your energy, and say no to what drains you, you're aging with wisdom. People who stay mentally clear and emotionally centered live longer, not because they avoid stress, but because they stop inviting it. You can still learn something new. The rarest gem is the mind that stays curious. If you're still learning new skills, new technology, new languages, even new hobbies, your brain stays young. Neuroplasticity doesn't end with age. It ends when you stop feeding it. If you're 70, 80 and still learning, your brain is still building, and the body follows the brain.